I'm going to talk about steroids, your favorite topic here, Gil. So switching things over to baseball, Mark McGwire came out yesterday and said that he would have hit 70 home runs clean. Yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, whatever, fine. So the admitted steroid user says he could have broken Roger Maris's single-game record without performance-enhancing drugs, which he did back in 1998. On Stadium TV's Baseball Stories with Jason Stark, shout out to friend of Complex Sports, Jason Stark, he told McGwire told him that he, currently serving as the bench coach for San Diego Padres, that when he hit 70 long balls in the race with Sammy Sosa back in 1998, that he could have done it again without PEDs. McGwire said, absolutely, I just know myself. I just know. I was a born home run hitter. I mean, unfortunately, I did take PEDs, and I've regretted that. I've talked about that. I regretted it. I didn't need to. That's the thing. I didn't need to. But I know deep down inside, I know me as a hitter, and I know what I did in that box, and I know how strong my mind is, and I know what kind of hitter I became. And yes, definitely.
He's lying his ass off. Look at all the broken sentences.
It ain't even about. He's lying. The biggest lie is I regretted it.
No, you didn't. You didn't regret it. Absolutely not.
If you tell me right now, I can take something to beat the 101, like 101 Wilt Chamberlain.
You taking it?
I'll be out tip. And don't let me, and then I get busted.
You're fine with that, yeah.
Regret is going to be the last.
It's like A-Rod. A-Rod took steroids, got the big time contract, lost what, $20 million? We got the rest. It was worth it. That's a good investment.
He almost made,
it's a good investment.
He almost made $500 million, only got docked about $25 million for what he did.
Was it P?
PEDs.
It's worth it.
And now he's dating J-Lo. Listen.
It's worth it.
Exactly.
Was worth it.
Don't block your blessings.
So kids, take steroids. It works out well for you.
Or as Gilbert used to say, the peds. Take the peds.
No, all right, but seriously though, if McGwire said he's that confident, or he was that confident in his abilities, so, it comes off as insanely hypocritical that you felt you needed to take steroids to get to that level, or at least maintain a level that you felt was appropriate for your performance.
Yeah. You're taking steroids because everyone else is taking it, and if everyone else is going 60, 65, 70, and you were a big home run hitter at 45, 51, you get lost in the shuffle if the 10 people behind you just jumped in front.
But if like you said everybody takes it, and you seem to agree, you've been a lifelong baseball fan. How come the top guys seem to always get caught? If you're taking steroids and everybody's doing it, maybe get your detection.
Because if you're the top guy, everyone's looking at you.
Very true.
See, everyone's looking at the 1, 2, 3. No one's looking in the middle of the field, like your 8th, your 9th guy, the 10th guy, even though they're on it because they had to come from somewhere, but because no one's looking at them because they're not the leader, they can.
But also remember, back in '98, mid-'90s, early 2000s, testing wasn't installed in baseball until I think around 2003. I forget the official date, but yeah, there was no testing back then. It was a wild, wild west of steroids, pharmaceuticals,
and that's the problem. So it's like you take that era and you just leave it as is because you got to assume everybody was on it. Yeah, if you took everybody on it, the same guys will still be in the lead. Yeah, they wouldn't be at 70 and 71 or 73. They'd be at 51, 53, but they'll be in front of everybody else still. Yeah. So all it is, everyone just juiced up. The leaders stay the leader.
Was the game better during that era?
Yes.
It's debatable. But McGwire told Jason Stark about the whole testing thing. He said, unfortunately, there wasn't any testing. There wasn't anything going on to keep the sport clean. The game has done a terrific job of doing what they're doing now. I commend them for doing it. I think we all wish testing went on when we had played. But unfortunately, it didn't.
He's lying.
I'm going to call, on this entire thing, I'm going to call bullshit on Mark McGwire because the reason he started taking steroids back in the early 90s, according to himself, I think 93 is when he said he first started taking them, was because he had a ton of injuries. And he was extremely brittle as his career went on, especially later on when he was in the middle of that home run race in 1998. He took steroids explicitly to stay in the lineup. Yeah. So how the hell, if you had been clean back in 1998, would you have slugged 70 home runs? Exactly. You couldn't even stay in the field without taking steroids. So that's complete nonsense.
And if we're testing anybody nowadays, we need to test Sammy Sosa and see what he's turning into, because that'll make sense of how he's looking nowadays. He does not look healthy. Sammy does not look healthy. The Sammy we see now is not the one that was in the home run chase.
You got to remember, like back in the day, I remember like they were thin. Baseball players were thin back then.
Yeah.
Right.
Until McGwire showed up.
And then they all became buff. Then like, what was it, Pete Rose? One of them?
What you mean?
Who was the pitcher that had the big old, like he was rocked?
Roger Clemens?
Roger
Clemens.
Roger Clemens. Like like a bus windshield. That motherfucker back was just
Had the
fucking
thigh
out there. Yeah.
Looked like he had a thigh as a neck.
Roid rage when he threw the
bat
shard bat at Mike Piazza. Yeah, that's
What kind
that's
of
out there.
craziness is that?
Yes, exactly. We can
That's just like him
analyze.
saying, "Yeah, I was clean."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then threw his wife under the bus, saying that she gave him steroids or something like. It was all messy. Got Andy Pettitte caught up.
I have a story about Brian McNamara for another time, but anyway. But you know, McGwire brought up an interesting hypothetical, saying that obviously if he was clean, he could have hit 70 home runs, which again I'm going to call foul on. And also he says that guys like Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge in today's game could break the 70 home run mark on their own. So it's an insane hypothetical being thrown out there. Why do sports fans? Why do we like hypotheticals so much?
Because we like to argue, and that's pretty. This breeds argument. It's great because it's subjective.
I mean, it's absurd though.
Yeah, but no one wins the argument.
Exactly.
And
You can argue
it's
for
like you
forever.
get to argue. It's like someone saying, "Yeah, the sky is blue," and then the person who you're arguing with waits till it's nighttime and say, "No, this is black." You sit there, and that's what it is. Everyone just gets to argue. No winning, no nothing.
He's the guy that will wait till it's
Yes,
nighttime and say, "Hey, it's black."
and you live in fantasy world.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of fantasy. Who's better? 90,
Right.
the 96 dream team, or this dream team, or that dream team. Like,
But do y'all have any favorite sports hypothetical arguments? No.
the one that's going on right now.
What's that?
Who's better, prime Jordan or prime LeBron?
Oh, yeah.
Or prime Kobe?
I mean, you could have that argument for days.
You could.
Yeah. I mean, it depends. I always say it depends on what category.
Yeah.
One-on-one. If we say they're going to play one-on-one, then I'm going to go Jordan, Kobe, LeBron.